Panyaza Lesufi is the new Premier of Gauteng. He was elected to his position during a special sitting of the Provincial Legislature earlier this afternoon. Lesufi beat the DA Solly Msimanga to the office by 38 votes to 22. In his acceptance speech, Lesufi promised to serve the province with dignity and integrity.
Today's occasion is not something to celebrate, but a reminder that we must serve with integrity, humility, and dignity. We should forever remain sensitive to the imperatives of our Constitution, to conduct ourselves with probity, and always act in the best interest of the people of this province. Madam Speaker, I refuse to accept that all of us came here to elect one person to be the Premier of our province. What we have done was the election of 16 million people of Gauteng to be the Premier, not me. It takes all of us to pick ourselves up. Our citizens are confronted with many challenges, but we must remain firm to defend, shield, but most importantly, serve them.
Our reporter Mbali, Thethani, witnessed Lesufi ascending to the office of Premier, and she joins us now live from the legislature. Mbali, a very good afternoon to you. Gauteng now has a new Premier. How is he being received?
That's right, Mpo. Of course, we just saw moments ago, of course, the new Gauteng Premier being announced as Panyaza Lesufi. Panyaza Lesufi went up against the DA's Solly Msimanga. But of course, coming out on top is indeed the ANC's candidate, who was, of course, announced also yesterday by his party. But joining us now, Mpo, for continued reaction is Solly Msimanga, who went up against Panyaza Lesufi. Of course, just your reaction as the DA and as somebody that you lost against this afternoon?
Well, we might have lost, but we've proven that we're the only alternative to, the voters out there when it's election time. We didn't abstain. We didn't vote for the ANC. We put up a candidate, and we are grateful that there are those that we have engaged from the other opposition party that have agreed with us that we will need to show the people of South Africa and the people of Gauteng that there is an alternative to the ANC. And this is what we've done today. But, to say that we are not expecting anything different. It might have changed in terms of the individuals in office, but the fact remains that the organization is the problem, not the individual. We have seen Panyaza in the term before and even now as leader of government business. We haven't seen any of the programs that have been implemented successfully. We are still sitting with a lot of SIU reports that have not been released, and they're still not going to be released. Why? Because some of them are implicating people that Panyaza Lesufi reports to in the PEC. Therefore, these are things that are not going to come out, and therefore we don't have any hope that we will get rid of corruption in Gauteng, that will fast track service delivery in Gauteng, and that's where we stand.
But he says there will be no holy cows, and one of the issues that he says he will be prioritizing is the issue around crime and, more importantly, corruption. But you're not buying it.
We're not buying it. If he's serious about that, there's an easy, low-hanging fruit. Let him release all the SIU reports. Let him release the Alexander Renewal Project report. Let him release the Beckersdale Renewal Project renewal report. Let him release the Mfuleni Renewal report. Let him release the Bank of Lisbon renewal and the Bank of Lisbon fire report. But over and above that, let him also release report from his own department. Remember, we have over 400 million that was squandered under his watch in the Department of Education when they went and sanitized schools that were empty. And therefore, nobody has been held to account for that. And if we are to take him seriously, let us start there.
Something quite important to take note of as well, Solly, this afternoon. We also saw the likes of Kenny Kulene from the Patriotic Alliance. You were in a coalition with them in the city of Johannesburg. We also saw the likes of the AIC and Al-Jamaa. When you look at, these interactions between the ANC and, of course, these other smaller parties, at a time, of course, where these are said to be your coalition partners, what do you make of that?
No, some of those people have never been our coalition partners, but the PA has been. But I'm glad that some of them are showing their colors, because then they cannot go back and fool the people again, later on and say, down with ANC, let's bring corruption out of government, and yet at the same time, when it's time to vote, they go and vote because, there's a seat for them somewhere in the executive. And therefore, we want to expose these kind of things now leading towards 2024, that the people must not ever again be fooled to think that if they vote for some of these other parties, their vote is actually going to mean anything impactful. But their vote is actually going to strengthen the ANC, as we have seen Kenny Kulene openly saying that they will continue to vote with the ANC because the ANC has given them positions that they've been asking for. Yet the people that voted for them are people who have been saying, we don't want the ANC to be in government. But they've handed the power in Johannesburg, and it looks like they want to also assist in doing that in other municipalities. And if that is the way that they are going to want to conduct elections in 2024, the people have the right to know that their vote will be a vote for the ANC.
Coming into speaking about other municipalities which you've just touched on, there are murmurs that the ground is shifting in Ekurhuleni, ground is shifting as well in Tshwane. Are your coalitions intact?
Well, we are still engaging with the people that we have coalesced with. We don't know what is going to happen in the days to come, but what I can tell you right now is that we continuously engage with those that we have coalesced with to keep the ANC out of power. And people must not be fooled to think that the ANC is in any way wanting to do anything good. They've realized that they've run out of money. They've realized that their own structures on the ground are not coming together and doing political activities. What they want now is to get close proximity to power, close proximity to EPWP jobs so that their branch members could be employed there, close proximity to tender so that those tenderpreneurs can in return begin to then fund their 2024 election campaign. And this is what it's all about. It's never been about serving the people. It's about how do they get their hands on money for 2024. But we will be keeping a watch on that, and we'll make sure that they account for each and everything that they do.
There are threats that the ANC won't be able to get 50% in 2024, specifically when it comes to this province. Will you be looking at ways of trying to gain back the trust of your coalition partners, which you've already made in some of these municipalities, to ensure what you are saying as the DA to keep the ANC out of power?
Well, we are still going to have a conversation with other parties. But unfortunately, what we're not going to do is that we're not going to be able to buy people or to offer positions on positions for people to coalesce. We should be coalescing around service delivery. We should be coalescing about how do we change people's lives. And then the issue of positions are things that should be discussed and then be completed once and for all and focus on serving the people of Gauteng. And if all coalition parties or those that want to form part of the coalition can agree around that, I promise you we will be able to form a formidable opposition to the ANC and keep the ANC out and actually be able to then show what is the difference between other parties that have been saying the ANC is corrupt and the corrupt ANC that we currently have.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, that is Solly Msimanga there, from the DA. He is also the caucus leader here in Gauteng. Just talking about, their reaction as well to the news of now seeing Panyaza Lesufi as the Premier of this province. But at the same time, we're just 24 or less than 24 hours away from that expected announcement that will come in tomorrow at 2 o'clock, where we will know who will form part of the Gauteng cabinet.
Very well. The developments around the political atmosphere in the province like Mbali Thethani giving us a sense of some of the reaction coming out of that. Now, the multi-party